involving the CIA.
And maybe the worst hack yet in American history.
Grave damage being done to America by leakers and hackers. Can President Trump stop the madness? We'll have a report.
This is what democracy looks like.
A protest called a day without a woman underway. What is it? And is it necessary? Also ahead, Miller with the best places on earth to live. And a report that sales of Ivanka Trump's clothing line are soaring. Caution. You are about to enter the no spin zone. The factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Treason in the air. That is the subject of this evening Talking Points memo. We now know that somebody either leaked or hacked into CIA files that explained how U.S. intelligence is tracking enemies of the nation. WikiLeaks, again, says it's released almost 9,000 documents from the CIA Center for Cyber Intelligence. Wall Street Journal editorial put it this way, quote, "The losses from this exposure are incalculable. These tools represent millions of dollars of investment and man-hours. Many will now be rendered moot as terrorists or foreign agents abandon traceable habits," unquote. So again, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, other killers now know how the USA is tracking them. Therefore, the leaks are a treasonous act. According to the Reuters news agency, the CIA breach happened during the Obama administration. The factor has learned that some of the computer systems used by the CIA are more than 40 years old, easily hacked into, easy targets of theft. We've also been told that bids are out to high-tech companies to upgrade the computer facilities or intelligence agencies. That'll cost tens of billions of dollars, but is absolutely necessary in this very dangerous world. But no matter how sophisticated the hardware gets, we still have people committing treason inside the government. We reported on that last night. Since taking office, President Trump has been bedeviled by leaks, classified information being fed to the anti-Trump press among them. So now we have a growing catastrophe. Obviously, the CIA and other intelligence agencies cannot protect their secrets. And so far, only a few individuals have been charged with violating national security. In 2013, then Private Bradley Manning was convicted of 6 Espionage Act violations, plus theft and computer fraud, for giving stuff to WikiLeaks. Just before he left office, President Obama commuted Manning's 35-year sentence, allowing him to leave on May 17th of this year after 7 years. Many objected to the leniency shown Manning. Talking Points believes that leakers of classified documents are actively committing treason. And it's apparent that the federal government does not have a handle on how to apprehend these traitors, much less stop the espionage. America is the most sophisticated country in the world, but we cannot protect the private conversations of our leader, our intel secrets, and our counterterrorism measures. We can't protect them. Obviously, a dangerous situation. President Trump should order the FBI to aggressively investigate all leaks and hacks, assigning that a top priority. Today, Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee requested a meeting with FBI Director Comey on the hacking and leaks. Mr. Comey should do that as quickly as possible, and they should be televised. Americans need to know if this situation is completely out of control or what. And that's a memo. Now for the top story reaction, joining us from Washington, Bob Woodward, Associate Editor of the Washington Post. So do you disagree with me, Bob?
Well, first of all, it's not treason what the press is doing, because the press gets these things and, as you well know, carefully vets them with the government to see if they're doing something harmful. And normally the press won't print things that's going to get people killed or that blow operations.
All right, let me stop you there. That's the way it used to be. It's not that way anymore because of the internet. All right? You know, one of the big stories of the fall was an internet site putting out this raw, unsubstantiated stuff on Trump that said horrible things about him and some alleged Russian transgressions. So it's not that way anymore. That maybe your newspaper does it, and maybe the Fox News Channel does it, but the internet doesn't do it, and that's where these leaks are going.
Okay, and that's WikiLeaks, and that is in a different category, and I agree with you. That is a real serious problem, and that should be the focus of attention and investigation. Let me ask you, have you ever received, Bill, information that's classified that then you broadcast or talked about in a public forum?
You know, in my career, I don't believe I have. I mean, I've received the information, but I usually find a way to verify it from another source, and sometimes I don't report it if I believe that lives will be endangered. That's why Bradley Manning got 35 years, okay? Because the stuff he gave WikiLeaks was put out, and then all of a sudden, American agents and some military people had to leave where they were because they might be killed.
But this isn't about Bradley Manning. I'm asking about you.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it out there unless I could verify it in another way. I would not violate the national security law. I would not do that.
Okay, but it's impossible to report on foreign affairs or intelligence or what the Pentagon is doing and not deal with classified information.
I don't believe that is. You can get people.
I know that's true.
Look, here's what I have done. I've got people in high levels and put them in shadow. I did an investigation on the Bradley fighting vehicle for ABC News, all right, that the cost overruns were unbelievable, that there was theft all over the place, and that some active military people were profiting. And I put my guys in shadow who gave it to me that couldn't identify him, voice distorted. I'll do that, but I'm not going to put out an anonymous source who tells me something that I can't verify.
Oh, okay, yeah, but all this stuff that we've used in my newspaper about Sessions, about Mike Flynn, has been verified, and it's been presented in a careful way that it does not harm national security.
You don't think that your newspaper was used in the taping of the conversation between the Russian ambassador and Flynn? You don't think you were used? Because what happened? Flynn's career went down the drain.
Yeah,
we still don't know. Yeah, we still don't know why this was put out, and we don't know what agency put it out. I think you guys were used.
Oh, wait a minute. Come on. That's BS.
Well, who put it out, Bob?
Well, okay.
Who put it out?
Well, first of all, who fired Flynn? Not the Washington Post. President Trump, because he saw
Flynn
something
wasn't.
in
I'm not saying that Flynn didn't deserve his fate. I'm saying that you don't know who taped that. Do you know who taped that call?
Look, specifically, I don't know, but I know the reporters who did this. Hey, wait a minute. This was done in a very careful way. It
Bob,
was
you're dodging me now. Come on. Do you, Bob Woodward, know who taped that call? Do you know?
I do not know.
Okay. All right. And you're an honest man, and I believe you. So that opens the possibility that you and your paper were used, okay, by somebody who illegally tapped Flynn because he's an American citizen. It's illegal to do it. It opens that possibility. Surely you know that.
Wait a minute. This isn't about being used. This is about what's true.
But we don't know what's true yet.
Well, certainly we do. Trump has relieved him of duty.
We know that he wasn't honest with the vice president about describing the call, but we don't know what the call was or if it had anything to do with the Trump campaign and the Russians. We don't know that.
No, but we know that it was different than what Flynn had said, and that's what's
therefore
important.
He got what he deserved in the sense that he wasn't
it's up for you to make a judgment on, but these are journalistic judgments. Is this news? Can it be presented in a way that does not harm national security?
Let me ask you a question.
That's exactly what happened.
Here's a simple question, okay? And I got to go over with Woodward here. The president's conversations with the Mexican president and the Australian prime minister, okay, were leaked. Were leaked. All right? Do you consider that a legitimate form of reportage?
First of all, you are in error when you think that somehow we passively sit around and wait for leaks.
I didn't say that. I didn't assume that. I asked you a direct question. Those two conversations from a president to two foreign leaders were leaked, all right, by somebody who had access to them. Do you consider that a legitimate reportage?
Because it informed people about what happened. Those were legitimate stories, and they were verified. Oh, come on.
It certainly whipped up anti-American sentiment inside Mexico. It certainly did that.
Well, look, we try to report the news, and the second or third bounce is not something that can be controlled.
I want you to be clear. I'm not disparaging you or your paper. I want to know who the leakers are, all right? Who they are, and what agencies cannot control these people. And I think you do too.
Okay, you would be surprised. I have had presidents in Republican and Democratic administrations provide information that is technically classified. I've had very senior people in the Pentagon.
It's off the record, don't print it.
No, it's not. This is what happened. Check it out. This is the way it can be reported and dealt with. And Bill, you know that happens all the time. And the question is here, can it be done in a careful and fair way? And
here's
I believe
the question
it has.
for me. Does it damage the country? That's the question for me. Great debate. We'll continue it. And we love having you on. We love having you on.
Thank you.
Next on the rundown, new poll on President Trump has some very interesting results. Bowling and Rivera will analyze. But later, Miller on the best places to live in the world. And a vicious crime gang from El Salvador continues to plague the nation. Those reports after these messages. And in the Impact segment tonight, new poll from USA Today. Question, what is your opinion of the job Donald Trump is doing as president? Strongly approved, 23%. Approved, 24%. Disapprove, 14%. Strongly disapprove, 30%. And so the president is up by 3. Do you generally approve or disapprove of President Trump's temperament? Approve, 30%. Disapprove, 60%. Undecided, 10. You're undecided about his temperament? Do you believe President Trump has shown leadership in his first 40 days? Yes, 55. No, 41. Finally, President Trump has said journalists and the media are the enemy of the American people. Do you agree or disagree? 34% agree, 59% disagree. Here now to analyze Geraldo Rivera and Eric Bolling. What jumps out at you, Bolling?
Well, first of all, clearly the Trump win is controversial, and you're seeing that reflected in those polls. They're almost all evenly divided, with the exception of the last one about whether or not the media is the enemy of the United States, the American people. If they rephrase the question, an enemy of the American people, I think you'd have it flipped, and 59 or more would say yes. I would agree with that.
Just flipping to the, or the to
taking the out.
Is it one of the enemies?
Correct.
Right.
I mean, clearly our biggest foe could be Iran.
I'm not sure that would flip it. I'm not sure about that.
You don't think that if they said, is the media and
here's how I would have phrased the question. I do agree that it's poorly phrased. I would have said, do you believe the media, all right, can be an enemy to the American people? That's all. Not a blanket every second, because I'm the media, and you guys love me. I know you do. All right,
what's the relevance of that question at all? First of all, I think this poll is totally legit. Suffolk University did a great job in terms of getting a big sampling from what I call Trumplandia, all of the South, the Rust Belt, lots of Fox News viewers. They really did a pretty good job. And they came to the same conclusion that I think people watching this program tonight would come. The president has shown excellent potential. The stock market is way up. The country, in many ways, already better off than it was on January 19th. But his temperament with these tweets and this recklessness when he puts out things like the wiretapping allegation with no proof whatsoever, that really is dragging him down, and he's really self-inflicting.
So if he would cut back a little on the flamboyant tweets, then his numbers would even go up higher?
I think that I really do believe. I think that, first of all, his approval numbers might surprise some people. He's very competitive, where Barack Obama was through much of the second part of his presidency, 47, 44.
That's because the economy is getting better.
That's because the economy is getting better. I think that this discussion on Obamacare and what replaces it might have some drag, but
not yet.
I was tremendously enthused and positive about the fact that the same two-thirds of the American people want the Dreamers to stay. They want immigration reform.
Because Americans are essentially fair
people.
They are,
and they're dubious about spending the $54 billion
extra. They are fair people, and I think this poll, it was a fair poll, except the phraseology of the media question, I'll grant you, was, are they the bad, they're not on the ISIS, the media. Not yet. They're trying to get there. We'll have black flags outside of some of the liberal entities soon. Now, the economy getting better is going to drive all of the president's poll numbers up, right?
What happened today? Axios put out a couple of numbers. There are three.
What's Axios?
Axios. You have to read this. This is the best.
Axios, is that a website?
It's a newsletter every morning and a website, but you take 10 minutes out of your day and you know everything that's going on in D.C. I highly recommend that. All right, so they put out, they talked about, I don't, 3 major Chinese tech firms that are promising investment in the United States. Also today, ADP came out with a private employer number. 298,000 people were hired last month. It blew the doors off the estimations. For an example, President Obama, even in his best years, rarely exceeded 200,000.
Right, so the economy's looking up. That's
you know
reflected.
who cares about those tweets at 4 or 5 in the morning? Who cares? The media cares.
American
people care about the jobs.
Bowling. When you're a president, you accuse your predecessor of tapping you, everybody takes a look at that. Everybody takes a look at it.
It's reckless and immature.
Unless he has.
And I love the guy.
You know
I would tell him, I wish I was
middle America cares about.
Unless he has evidence that members of the Obama administration did it.
But even if you have evidence, is that the appropriate way to find the
appropriate
facts?
way to get attention.
Is that the
appropriate way to get attention?
He's the president. He controls the attention button. He can get attention anytime he wants.
So I think that there was a reason why he did that, but I don't know what the reason is.
Well, all I know
because
is
it doesn't matter, because it gets people talking about other things other than this whole Russian issue. I'll tell you what American people care about. They care about jobs. They care about being able to put food on the table,
Sure.
and they care about wages.
I disagree.
All 3 of those things are better under President Trump than they have been in years.
You disagree they care about that?
I disagree that the American people do not care about Russia. In the survey, Russia also polled 2/3 of the American people want to get to the bottom of that story. Now, I personally, if you're asking me, I don't think there was any wiretapping, and I don't think there was any Russian collusion.
There was wiretapping.
I think that in both those cases.
Geraldo, there was wiretapping. The question is, did President Obama direct the wiretapping? That's the only question.
I mean, it was
There's no
wiretapping
question
on the
about
Russian
wiretapping.
ambassador.
On the
and
Russian
Flynn.
ambassador, but
And
not
Flynn.
the way the president
But
said
that
it,
Russian
Trump
story,
out.
that's starting to dive now, big time, because there's just no evidence to back it up. Gentlemen, as always, directly ahead, a day without women. It's happening right now. Take a look at it. But later, it seems Ivanka Trump's clothing line is doing well, despite noise from another retailer saying the opposite. We'll have the facts. Ooh, those facts. Up ahead. Personal Story segment tonight. Today is International Women's Day, but some have gone a bit further, branding it a day without a woman, calling for the ladies to take a day off from work or home duties. Here now to explain why, Leslie Marshall in Los Angeles, Penny Nance in our New York studio. Ms. Nance is the president of the Concerned Women for America. You're concerned.
We all should be.
All right. Are you concerned about the day off some ladies are taking today?
Yeah, not many are taking it off. You know, look,
How do you know?
Because they're everywhere, by the way, and the women who are working and cleaning in the hotel I'm staying at, I asked them about it, and they said, hey, you know, we're here, we're happy to have a job, and we think this guy needs a chance. Because the bottom line is these are people that are angry about Donald Trump being elected. Who isn't in favor of women?
You're referencing the fact that the people who organized the day off thing are the same people who organized the Women's March in January.
Women's March.
Yeah. And so they're angry that Trump is president. But there has to be a theme, Leslie. You're in tune with this crew. What is the theme? Okay, so we're happy to get you. I didn't know whether you were going to be working today or not, but here you are. But why do they want ladies to take off from work?
Well, first of all, wearing red is one way to support and show your solidarity, which I'm doing. And secondly, a lot of women can't take the day off from work, and that is actually one of the gripes. A lot of women, and even some women who voted for the president, are viewing him and his administration as being anti-woman and rolling back the clock, in a sense, with regard to women's issues and issues that women really care about, whether it be health care.
Political? I still don't know why you want to take off from work. I mean, are you trying to get across to the guys that how much we need you? I mean, is that the point of taking off from work?
Well, you know, historically, if you look back to the Montgomery bus boycott, it was 381 days, though, Bill, they showed what they could do with their economic power.
But I don't know what the beef is.
Being the majority of consumers.
I know what the beef was with the Montgomery boycott, but I don't know what the beef is. What's the beef?
The beef is that the politicians of this country, this president and his administration, are not listening to the women of this country and the issues that we as women care about. And this sends a clear message. You have to look at both politics and the pocketbook. And with the consumerism and a boycott or a strike, that hits the latter.
I think you just made Penny's point that it's people who don't like Trump who are doing this.
No.
Now, is there...
No.
Wait, listen. Is there a legitimate beef in your world, the people that you deal with, about gender equality in America?
I agree with Hillary Clinton that there's never been another time in history that it's better to be born female, and certainly no better place to be born female than the United States of America.
Okay, that's a positive message, but is there room for improvement?
Always. Because
in what areas? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, okay, so women, by the way, outpace men in college degrees, in law degrees, in medical degrees, but we're not penetrating the very tip top. In
You're not running those companies.
However, what I would say is this message is so wrong. It should be the opposite. You don't make those by staying home and pouting. We have told women, and we're doing the hashtag Women Make America Work. Go to work and kill it today. That's how you get to the boardroom. That's how you become CEO.
All right. Are you disenchanted with America because more women aren't leading in certain industries?
We have more opportunity than anywhere in the world.
So you're optimistic.
Very optimistic.
All right. Are you pessimistic or optimistic, Leslie, wearing the red dress? What are you?
I'm a pessimist normally, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about the women of the future, looking at my daughter and the next generation of women, and it starts now. Two-thirds of the women, two-thirds of the minimum wage earners in this country are women. They're asking for more money for a higher minimum wage, to be specific. A lot of women are saying that they don't like some of the decisions that are being made with regard to education, and there are people that voted for Trump.
But Leslie, you just have to zero in on your beef, all right? If it's minimum wage, then we understand that, all right? But if it's, well, we don't like everything, that doesn't really do us any good. Ladies, very good. Thank you. Plenty more ahead. This Factor moves along this evening. Violent Salvadoran gang, MS-13, plaguing America. It's full of illegal alien criminals. We'll tell you what's going on. And Miller on the best places to live on the planet. Also, Ivanka Trump's clothing line apparently doing very well, despite reports. We hope you stay tuned for those reports. Back to follow-up segment tonight, illegal alien criminals all over the USA. A violent Salvadoran gang called MS-13 is causing trouble. And not just in the big cities. In Suffolk County, Long Island, the suburbs, 13 alleged Salvadoran gang members have been indicted for murder and other crimes.
4 members of the MS-13 gang who went by the names Funny, Blasty, Flash, and Turkey were charged in connection to the September slayings of Nisa Mickens and Kayla Cuevas, 2 teens found beaten to death in a Brentwood neighborhood. U.S. Attorney Robert Capers announcing a 41-count indictment including racketeering and obstruction of justice against a total of 13 MS-13 gang members. According to officials, 10 of the 13 members indicted are here illegally.
With us now here in New York, Timothy Sini, Police Commissioner of Suffolk County. So this is a federal beef. You worked with the feds on this case?
Absolutely. That's the way you bring these gangs down. You collaborate with your federal law enforcement partners. You know, the work happens on the street, of course. Our officers are out there working hard, keeping pressure on
so you
these
get the
gang
call
members.
that these 2 young girls are murdered, right?
That's right.
So your guys go out and investigate, and what did you find out?
We found out that MS-13 was responsible, and they went out hunting for a victim.
Did they know these girls?
They knew Kayla Cuevas. That's
all right, because these are young girls. I mean, these are what,
15 and 16.
15 and 16. So they wanted to kill the girls for any reason?
There's a schoolyard beef that was going on between Kayla and these savages, and they decided that she had to die.
And then this other girl was with her, so she died as well.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Now, so you are not a sanctuary county, and you don't, if you see somebody in the country illegally, you don't automatically give them a pass, right?
That's right. So when we arrest someone and they're here illegally, we notify the Department of Homeland Security, and they'll take whatever action they deem appropriate.
Right away. Does it matter if it's a DUI or a homicide?
Upon arrest. Any
upon arrest.
Any
so you know, okay. Does that get the people of Suffolk County going, what you doing? You're anti-immigrant, you're this, you're that. Do you hear that?
No, we work very closely with our immigrant communities. Our immigrant communities are strong supporters of law enforcement.
You don't get any backlash on this guy. This is good.
Certainly there's some, but we do a lot of community engagement. We explain our policies very clearly so that folks know what we're doing and why we're doing it.
But see, if you were in New York City, it's totally opposite. As soon as you cross into the city, the cops are told not to do that, not to, upon arrest, alert Homeland Security. Let's take a look at the Salvadoran gang. When were you first aware that they showed up in Suffolk County, again, the suburbs, and what do they do?
Well, we've had a presence of MS-13 in Suffolk County for many, many years, but we did see an uptick in recent years, 2014, 2015, and in 2016. And why this gang is so dangerous, unlike some of the other gangs who sell drugs for money and they engage in extortion and then use violence to protect that economic activity, this gang engages in violence so they're particularly dangerous, and they engage in just brutal levels of violence, and we need to do everything we can to get them off our streets.
All right, 14 were indicted, 10 are illegal aliens. I don't know how many had a record. Do you know how many had a prior record out of the 10 who are illegal?
The individuals who were charged with Nisa and Kayla's murder did not have a record. They're very...
Okay, so they didn't have a record. They were in a gang, though, and that's a deportation offense if you're in a gang. How many MS-13s are there in Suffolk County? You have an estimate?
Yeah, there's approximately 300. And
300?
Yes.
And how many of they are illegal aliens, you know?
It's, we don't have the exact numbers on that. We obviously collect as much intelligence as possible. What we're finding is that a lot of folks are illegally entering the southern border, and then they're underage, actually, and they're detained by the Department of Homeland Security, and then they're transferred to the Department of Health. And there's a program called Unaccompanied Children Program.
But there's a base of 300 El Salvadoran gangsters. Those gangsters are going to join their pals, right?
There's no doubt.
It's a magnet.
Yeah, MS-13 recruits folks who recently immigrated to this country, whether legally or illegally, and we have to make sure that we put them
All right. All right, Commissioner, we'll keep us posted about what happens, and we appreciate you coming in. When we come right back, it'll be Miller time, the best places on earth in which to live. Miller is next.
The O'Reilly Factor, the #1 cable news show for 16 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment tonight. The USA has slipped to 7th in the best country world rankings. According to U.S. News and World Report, here's the top 10. Switzerland, #1. Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Sweden, then us, then Australia, France, and Norway. Here now, from Santa Barbara, California, Dennis Miller. So what do you think of the list, Miller?
You know, Billy, my feminine side almost didn't come in today. A lot of gals taking off, sleeping in. I am woman, hear me snore. Listen, we might be 7th, but I still say that we're #1 in sense of humor, and to prove that to you, Bill, I have a riddle. Can I lay a quick riddle on you before we break down the other countries?
Absolutely.
All right, here's my riddle. Do you know when 11:59 p.m. occurs?
A minute before midnight.
At the end of the day. At the end of the day.
You're punishing me, Miller. You're punishing me. All right?
I knew that.
We have some letters on that. Yes. All right. So, Switzerland.
Let's break down the other countries.
Yeah, you want to live in
Switzerland?
Yeah.
All right. Usually I'm neutral on Switzerland, but it's got its problems too, Billy. If you live next door to Heidi, her old man grandpa's up at 6 in the morning blowing on the Ricola horn, so they got problems there. #2, Canada. I like Canada. It's given me my wife. I love Canada, but there's too many petulant American actors migrating up there after the last election. What's that? Oh, none of them went? Sorry, Canada. Love the UK at #3. I just don't love it as much as the USA. #4, Germany. I hear it's great. Well, let's face facts. The Hun gets a little flippy every once in a while, history shows us, and they're due. And you don't want to be in that Berlin hotel when they throw that wall up again overnight. #5, Japan. I like Japan, but I'm bad with chopsticks. And you know, Billy, the green tea has a binding effect on my small intestines, to the point where I want to commit seppuku. #6, Sweden. Hey, if I want to live in the Mid-East, I'll just move to the Mid-East. And that puts us at 7, Billy.
It's warm.
I forget who the rest of them were.
Australia, France, and Norway, but they're behind us. See, we're better.
Norway. Are you kidding? Norway
Yeah.
is the little plastic village you set up under your Christmas tree once a year. The United States is the big honking train that comes through and makes the whole thing even vaguely interesting. Get out of here with Norway.
It is. The United States has more opportunity, but, you know, look, Switzerland's a nice little country. You learn how to yodel. You got a big comforter on you every night, and it's very clean. Canada, we like Canada. It's a little brisk up there, but we like it.
You mean that big comforter named Helga?
Whatever the comforter is named, it's okay with me. Now, we mentioned Australia. This is great. In Melbourne, which is a nice town, okay, they have little icons on lights.
Everything's nice, Billy. Everything's
not everything, all right? Glasgow, Scotland, not a nice town. Okay. Now, they have little icons on, you see? But now they're both genders. It used to be they were just men crossing the street, and now they had to spend all the money to get some ladies on the traffic icons to be politically correct, Miller.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen here, Billy? There's going to be a lot of intersection crashes now. Guys not paying attention, checking out how stacked. Look at that silhouette on the sign. Is she stacked? Hey, baby, boom. Crash, wreck. And why is this in Melbourne? Why isn't it Melanie-born? Are they hateful about women down there? And I don't know who the woman is in charge of that organization who's putting this through, but I guarantee you she doesn't drive a stick.
Miller, it's a different world than the one you and I grew up in. Back then, the USA was #1. Maybe Austria was #2, but now Austria's not even on the list. It's not even
Billy,
there.
let me say this. It's a different world in many ways, but in another world, some of these feminists are stuck in a Virginia Slims ad from a 1967 copy of Look magazine. Who knew that they wanted to work this hard to get strong enough to be whiny on their own?
All right, Dennis Miller, everyone. A quick reminder, out of 25,000 tickets, see Miller, Waters, and me, only 150 remain. So if you're near Omaha, Nebraska, Tacoma, Washington on the last weekend of March, check it out on BillO'Reilly.com. I'd like to see it. I'm Dak. Contrary to some reporting, Ivanka Trump's clothing line doing quite well. Right back with it. Back in the book segment tonight, did you see that? You may remember that Nordstrom and some other retail stores embarrassed Ivanka Trump by downgrading her line of shoes and clothing. Stores were saying sales were slow. According to a report seen on CNBC, that's not true. And now to explain further, Trish Regan, you see her every day on the Fox Business Network at 2 p.m. So sales are good for the Ivanka line?
Are great. We contacted the company, and the CEO says it's never been better. In fact, for the last 4 weeks or so, it's been through the roof. So this is important, right? Because you think about the timing, and you'll recall there was a big fiasco when Nordstrom said we're dropping the line, and they said it's because of poor sales. Well, what do you know? Women saw that, Bill, and they went out and they started spending on Ivanka Trump's clothing line.
So you think that's what it was? Here's the key question.
Okay.
Did Nordstrom have a legitimate right because the Ivanka stuff was not moving? Or did they make it up because there was this grab your wallet thing?
Yeah.
There's this far left protest that was getting into the store hierarchy, and some believe they just caved and there was nothing wrong with this.
Right, and I think grab your wallet completely backfired because women went out and they grabbed their wallet and they bought the products.
Stuff, right.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that was a big part of it. Now, the company previously said her sales were down. We contacted them today regarding this to say, basically, don't you feel bad now that you let that go? It was a big opportunity. And they said, we don't comment on individual sales and lines. So, you know, they're trying to have their cake and eat it, too. So I think there are still legitimate questions.
It would be fascinating to know, and I guess we could find out, and whether this whole Ivanka Trump controversy was generated by these far-left people who wanted to punish the Trump family, or the sales actually did rocket up after this became known, and women, as you point out, saying, you know, we don't like this. We're going to go back. We're going to go out and buy
I think
stuff.
Nordstrom's was concerned from a political perspective because of the Grab Your Wallet campaign. That said, January's a tough time, right? Women have spent all their money. They went Christmas shopping.
Nordstrom's a loser because if they don't have the Trump stuff and the ladies want it,
Indeed, and you know what? I should point out, sales are now up better than 300%.
Wow,
according
300%.
to some data online, which is very.
I don't know if Ivanka needs the money, but it is for her. All right, now do you follow football? Are you a sports guy?
A little bit.
All right,
You know.
So you know this Colin Kaepernick? He kneeled down. Well, there was a soccer lady who did the same thing that Kaepernick did. Roll it.
What's so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming in the home of the brave.
All right, so the woman, what's her name here?
Megan Rapinoe.
Okay. And she was kneeling down for protest reasons, but now the soccer people say you can't kneel down anymore.
Right. The U.S. Federation came out and said you can't kneel. It's not allowed during the national anthem. We're not going to allow it for any national team, whether you're on the men's team, whether you're on the women's team, or whether you're on the youth team. So she was doing this, as you said, to show her support for Colin Kaepernick. And they're saying it's not going to happen anymore.
These are people who play international games. This isn't the pro league. It's not like the Red Bulls and stuff. The soccer people don't have any sway. But these are the people who play in the international leagues that is regulated by this agency, right?
Right, and you think about it, it's an international league, right? So if you're playing against Brazil, right, you don't really want Americans kneeling.
Right. Well, they came down and they said, we're going to throw you off the team if you kneel down, right?
Done. End of story.
Out.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll see. She's out for an injury right now. But
yeah, we'll see what happens to her. All right. There you go, Trish Reagan. Thank you. Back to tip of the day, an earthquake warning. An earthquake warning for California. The tip, moments away. Back to tip of the day is a big earthquake going to hit California in a moment. First, some mail. Sandy Nida, Hammett, California. Bill, because you are a simple man, you missed Senator Cotton saying partisan Democrats are responsible for the leaks. Didn't miss it? Doesn't help, Sandy. We need to know what agencies and what individuals are purposely compromising national security. Maxine Voorhees, Picayune, Mississippi. O'Reilly, why did you give President Obama the benefit of the doubt in the Judicial Watch segment? You said he's a smart guy. That's true by every measure, Maxine. President Obama's a smart guy. And I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. I gave him the presumption of innocence lacking evidence. That's a fair thing to do, is it not? Les Mimu, Everett, Washington. Bill, in your talk with Newt Gingrich, you both said General Flynn was in his office at Trump Tower while talking with the Russian ambassador. Last night you said he was possibly in the office. Which is it? Fair question, Les. We believe the conversation took place inside the Trump Tower based on what we've been told. But we don't have 100% confirmation. Richard Pasma, Littleton, Colorado. The dictionary defines immigrant as a person who comes to live permanently in a foreign country. Therefore, Dr. Carson's mention of slaves is correct. Give me a break, Richard. You're not an immigrant if you're kidnapped and taken to a foreign country. Jeez. Lee David Miles, Delray Beach, Florida. There is no excuse for Ben Carson. He made me sorry. I donated to his campaign. Too harsh. Too harsh, in my opinion, Lee. Lawrence Facano, San Clemente, California. Bill, agree with you about not saying at the end of the day. I put that right up there with it is what it is. I could do without hearing either one ever again. Me too, Lawrence. Julie Frederickson, Las Vegas. How about amazing? Everything is not amazing. Save it for when it genuinely is. Right on. Clyde Goulet, Montgomery, Alabama. Just finished reading Killing the Rising Sun. What an awesome testimony to the toughness of the greatest generation. I believe the snowflake generation should read this book if they think their lives are so tough. And they should read Old School too, Clyde. Snowflakes are going to love that. Boy. And finally tonight, the factor tip of the day. As I mentioned, all Americans should be skeptical about what they read these days, as the truth is elusive. So when I saw a new study by the Scripps Institution of Oceanography out of the University of California, San Diego, I was concerned. The study says a big earthquake could hit out there at any time because of the 19-mile Rose Canyon Fault, which begins in San Diego's Mission Valley and heads offshore. Apparently, the Newport-Englewood Fault is attached to the Rose Canyon thing. So the potential for a big disaster around Los Angeles exists. But how much potential? Is this a warning or an observation? Didn't say in the article. So we called Scripps to get some perspective. And by airtime, they had not answered us. That's not good. We'll try again tomorrow, but for now, continue to be skeptical about what you read. Factor tip of the day. And if there's a big earthquake that's inevitable, we need to know about it. That is it for us tonight. Please check out the Fox News Factor website, differentfrombillO'Reilly.com. Also, we'd like you to spout off about the Factor from anywhere in the world, O'Reilly at FoxNews.com, O'Reilly at FoxNews.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Where today do not be invidious when writing the Factor. Now, I know I'm going to hear from people in Glasgow, Scotland. The River Clyde, you can walk across that river on the stuff on top of it. Or at least you could the last time I was there. But I know I'm going to get the Scots, not liking this Irish guy for that comment. Again, thanks for watching us tonight. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Please remember the spin stops here, because we're definitely looking out for you.
Involving the CIA.
And maybe the worst hack yet in American history.
Grave damage being done to America by leakers and hackers. Can President Trump stop the madness? We'll have a report.
This is what democracy looks like.
A protest called a day without a woman underway. What is it? And is it necessary? Also, Ed Miller with the best places on earth to live. And a report that sales of Ivanka Trump's clothing line are soaring. Caution. You are about to enter the no spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Treason in the air. That is the subject of this evening Talking Points memo. We now know that somebody either leaked or hacked into CIA files that explained how U.S. intelligence is tracking enemies of the nation. WikiLeaks, again, says it's released almost 9,000 documents from the CIA Center for Cyber Intelligence. Wall Street Journal editorial put it this way, quote, "The losses from this exposure are incalculable. These tools represent millions of dollars of investment and man-hours. Many will now be rendered moot as terrorists or foreign agents abandon traceable habits," unquote. So again, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, other killers now know how the USA is tracking them. Therefore, the leaks are a treasonous act. According to the Reuters news agency, the CIA breach happened during the Obama administration. The Factor has learned that some of the computer systems used by the CIA are more than 40 years old, easily hacked into, easy targets of theft. We've also been told that bids are out to high-tech companies to upgrade the computer facilities